Good evening, Eric Arnold here in his studio, which he calls the Sports Barn. I am occasionally known as the Big E. We're here to give you the weekend's college football picks, give you the Thursday night NFL pick. Let's get to it. We're a little late here. Day's kind of gotten away from me. Could have some new people here possibly. I once in a blue moon make a political video, which I guess, all right, you got me. Once in a blue moon is apparently now every week, but I do it when something's got me particularly irritated, and the censorship over this Biden laptop issue has really annoyed me because it's a newsworthy story that's being hidden by the legacy media, hidden by Twitter, hidden by Facebook, and it's not right. So I've taken it upon myself to tell you what I know about it, and you can make up your own mind whether it's newsworthy or not. But by God, I'm going to tell you about it. So I did that on another video earlier this afternoon, and apparently we've had about 300 people come through the barn. Well, I exaggerate. An hour and a half ago was 230, and I don't know if that number's going up or not. I hope like hell some of these Trump people coming through here are like subscribing that they like college and pro football picks. I'm going to be sad if 300 people come through the barn and we still got 40 subscribers. I'm going to be a little sad. But anyway, let's get to the picks. So, we're getting late in the day here. We got two stars here on the NFL game tonight with the New York Giants. For you people that are new, here in the Sports Barn, we are located squarely within the sphere of influence of the Philadelphia sports scene. We're contractually obligated to root for the Eagles, the Phillies, the Sixers, and the Flyers, not necessarily in that order. So we got to root for the Eagles. We love our Eagles. I don't think tonight's their night, though. The Giants generally play these guys pretty close. I can tell you this. One of our friends of the program, if you will, I guess he's not, if he's your brother, does that make him your friend? Or does that just mean he's your brother? I don't know. Well, at any rate, he worships the Eagles. Let's put it this way, he hates Donald Trump with a burning passion of hell. But he's going to watch the game tonight rather than watch that debate. That's how much he loves the Eagles. So, and he respects the Giants, not at all. He thinks this is just such an easy slam dunk win. They're going to win 99-0 tonight, to hear him tell it. He's looking ahead to the Cowboys. The Eagles play the Cowboys next. And he just, he cannot conceive that the Eagles might play a tough game against the Giants here. Giants are getting better. That's a team that's slowly getting better. 5 points? I mean, there's 5 points of difference between the Eagles, the 1-4-1 Eagles, and the 1-5 Giants. I'm not so sure there is. And remember, there's hardly any home field advantage right now. So I'll take the 5 points. I'll take the Giants. Now, the rest of the college slate. Subscriber F. Rusty Hall, subscribers that have complained, not complained, that's a negative word, have offered constructive criticism about when, they want to pay attention to the program. All right, listen up. I'm going to give you the top plays right now. They are Tulsa, Auburn, Kansas State, and West Virginia. Did you get that? Let's do it again. Tulsa, Auburn, Kansas State, and West Virginia. Now I'll give you the rest of it. We're going to take Appy State tonight, if I can never get this video posted. No real strong feeling about that one. That's just kind of a hunch. Appy State's been off. I just kind of think that, now might be a good time for them to come up with a big effort. Arkansas State's played some really tough competition in the Sun Belt lately, so they might just be a little beat up. Jacksonville State, that's a good AA team. We think they're going to hug close to Florida International. No real, hunch on that one. Aforementioned Tulsa. Yeah, Tulsa beat Central Florida last time out. South Florida, I don't think they've won a game yet. I think they beat the Citadel. Does that count? Is that right? I mean, let's just say that said Central Florida instead of Tulsa. What would that number be? I kind of think Tulsa is getting, the shaft here, that they're being ignored, that that was a team that went into Oklahoma State and gave them trouble. So I think Tulsa's better than what people think they are. And we're going to play it that they're going to walk into South Florida and handle their business. Auburn, Ole Miss. I'm not a big Gus Malzahn fan, but I'm really not a Lane Kiffin fan. And I just kind of think when the chips are down, Auburn generally is better than these kind of teams like Ole Miss. And it's early for Kiffin. He's trying to put an entirely new system in there at Mississippi, and just think it might be a little soon. Auburn kind of needs this game. They don't want to be. Well, Malzahn needs this game. He's a guy that's on the perpetual hot seat. So, kind of going to go ahead and say Auburn gets it done off the loss at South Carolina. Once again, we seek out Kansas and Les Miles and play against them. That's like every week we try to play against Kansas. I just think that team's terrible. And we like Kansas State at home. That team has always been a good home team. And, we're only laying 20 here. I think this is the Big 12, no defense. So that could be a big score. That could be a score up in the 40s and 50s. And if we get up there, we'll probably cover. We always like to looking out for UTEP. We'll play against them with Charlotte. Liberty. We screwed that up last week. They should have had them for a best bet, and we threw it away because we just couldn't believe that Syracuse is that bad and Liberty's that good. Well, we'll take Liberty. We'll take them. We'll take them here. Roll Tide. Roll Tide. Alabama, 21-point favorites at Tennessee. I don't know. I mean, Tennessee's been getting beat by some pretty good scores here. Even Kentucky laid it on them. And Alabama is much better than Kentucky. If Alabama gets in the 40s and 50s, they're probably going to cover. So, and this is the kind of game where Saban doesn't really have an incentive to call the dogs off or to, slow the tempo. So I could kind of see this one getting up and out and away. 40s, 50s. Yeah, we'll cover that if we get up in the 40s and 50s. Virginia Tech, we like this team, although we can't seem to get it right. Last week we played against them. They beat us. The week before we had them. They got crushed at Carolina. We'll try again. I think this is one of these games where we just think that Virginia Tech is going to grind them to the dust on the ground. The model likes teams to run the ball. I'll let you in on a little secret. My little statistical model likes teams that run the ball. Speaking of which, here we have Navy getting 14.5 from Houston. I don't know. Houston's, they got an aerial attack there. And if they get up fast on Navy, it could be ugly, but we're going to bet that that's not going to happen, that Navy's going to do enough to stay close to these guys and make it a close game. Penn State, this is a hunch. I mean, when was Indiana deserve any recognition here? Penn State's less than a touchdown favorite at Indiana. James Franklin's a hell of a good coach. I know that's shocking to some of you Penn State people, but he covers spreads. So we're going to take him to cover the spread here. Baylor, yeah. I mean, we can't get Texas right, so we only put 1 star on this. Really, when you think about it, Baylor, over the past few years, has won just as much stuff as Texas has. So I'm not sure why Baylor's a whole 9.5-point underdog there. Now, here's the Big 12 game of the week. This is, big game here in the Big 12. I guess the 2 undefeated teams, Iowa State undefeated in the Big 12, that is. Iowa State going up against Oklahoma State at Stillwater. And Oklahoma State a 3.5 point under, or a 3.5 point favorite. This one I'm not crazy about, but the statistical model says take Iowa State. Yeah, this feels. I'm talking against my own pick here, so you'll just have to be your own judge here. But it really feels a little bit like step on your dick time for Iowa State. They've had some really big wins lately. And, Oklahoma State, I think they had a quarterback get hurt. Now they've been off. I could see that quarterback coming back. I think they might have a gear, perhaps, that Iowa State doesn't have. I don't know. Last week I threw away I don't know how many winners when the model said do X and I did Y, and it just didn't work. So we'll leave it at Iowa State. Missouri, this is a hunch. I think most of the money will be on Kentucky. They're coming off a huge win over rival Tennessee, team they hardly ever beat. So they got to be sky high. Maybe they're not looking here real close at Missouri. Missouri just one of those kind of afterthought teams. I mean, how do you get up for Missouri? LSU couldn't. And so Missouri, they're off a bye. Maybe they're just laying in the weeds here for, Kentucky, and they're going to knock them off their high horse possibly. So we got them. That's a hunch. West Virginia, that's a top play. Just kind of think West Virginia is a better team than Texas Tech. This is a defense optional conference. So 3.5, we're only laying 3.5. It's West Virginia goes down there and gets this win. They'll likely cover that 3.5. So that's the way we're going to play it. West Virginia goes down there, gets it done. South Alabama, we don't like Monroe. We don't think that team's good. So we'll take South Alabama for 2. Michigan and Minnesota. Now, this I kind of went back and forth on just because we love PJ Fleck up there at Minnesota. Think he's a great coach. Just unbelievable what he did there in the MAC with Western Michigan, and then did it again at Minnesota. I mean, when last seen, Minnesota was knocking off Auburn in the bowl game. And it wasn't close, frankly. They beat them pretty handily. Michigan, they're perennial in the we're back category. Remember, we've talked about the we're back conference. And Michigan's definitely near the top of the we're back conference. But the more I think about it, one of these things is just not like the other. You know what I mean? Michigan, Minnesota. Michigan, Minnesota. One of these teams is always better than the other team. And I'm just not ready. Maybe that's part of the new COVID world where now suddenly Minnesota is better than Michigan. But I just don't believe it. You got to prove it to me. I say Michigan's better than Minnesota. They'll show you Saturday night. Michigan's going to find a way to get that game. Virginia, Miami. We'll go ahead and take Virginia, try to catch those points there. Maybe Miami's a little down after getting handled by Clemson. Louisiana Tech, we think they're a better team than some of these other teams in this conference. We think they'll get it done at San Antonio. I think the thinking is there. San Antonio's coming off a game against Army. A team like San Antonio's probably not very deep. So they've had probably 70, 80, 90 plays run at their ankles, guys diving at them all night long. That beats you up maybe. So we're going to go ahead and take Louisiana Tech. And then lastly, big game out of the American. Undefeated Cincinnati against undefeated SMU. SMU didn't look good against Tulane. I watched that game. And I usually get to watch some games on Friday night because that's my night to go out to the bar. And I had SMU, and they just stumbled all over the place against Tulane. They just did not look good. And Cincinnati is better than Tulane. So kind of feel like SMU is just kind of looking for a place to fall down. And maybe this is it. Cincinnati, Subscriber X, he hates that coach. For you new people, we're Ohio State alumni here in the Sports Barn. So we love our Ohio State. So Luke Fickell, a former Ohio State guy, he calls him the water boy, subscriber X. I guess because he thinks he looks like Adam Sandler. I don't know, subscriber X. Luke Fickell's been getting some things done here lately. So we're going to go ahead and say he figures out a way to go down there at SMU and get it done. So I think we got all 1 star on that. So that's a hunch. Anyway, to recap, your best plays are, we'll take the Giants tonight, Tulsa, Auburn, Kansas State, West Virginia. All right, for anybody that's new that subscribed, hey, thanks, we appreciate it. We'll try to get some winning picks for you and not just hate on Joe Biden, over and over again. I mean, for you Democrats that are here, let's hear what Joe Biden has to say. Maybe he's got a reasonable explanation for all this, but lately all I've heard is smear, debunked, no, didn't happen. That's not an explanation. I mean, it's just not. So thanks. Let's get some winners going from us here in the Sports Barn to you. Good weekend, good football, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.